I am here with my friend Carl Honore, and we are going to be teaching a workshop at the Modern Elder Academy in Baja. Carl's going to be flying in from London. Whoa, good for you.
Woo!
I'm so honored to have him join us here at our Midlife Wisdom School. It's January 31st to February 5th. In the new year, and it's on the Modern Elder Academy website at modernelderacademy.com. So Ted, Carl, you and I have both had 2 TED Talks. Your first TED Talk was about the slow movement. Quickly tell us about the slow movement.
What's the fast version of slow? The easiest way is to tell people, I think at the start, what the slow movement is not, right? It's not about doing everything slowly. I am not an extremist or a fundamentalist of slowness. I love speed, right? That's why I live in London. You know, I like fast. Faster is often better. We all know that, but not always. And that's kind of the key that unlocks this whole slow philosophy. It's about doing things at the right speed. Sure, sometimes fast, but sometimes slowing things down. Musicians talk about the tempo giusto, the correct tempo for each piece of music. That kind of gets at the heart of what this slow creed, slow with a capital S, is all about. It's really a mindset, I suppose. It's kind of like being present and in the moment, doing one thing at a time. Ultimately, it's about doing everything not as fast as possible, but as well as possible. Super simple idea in its essence, but one that has game-changing possibilities across your whole life, right? Because if you arrive at every moment thinking, how can I live this moment as well as possible rather than as quickly as possible?
Yeah,
everything goes better, and everything, you know, the dial turns up in all sorts of good ways.
I think it was Gandhi who said that there's more to life than increasing its speed. And so there's something to that. And I think maybe this is particularly true as we get older. Would you agree?
I think definitely. I mean, there are studies that suggest that one thing we do seem to get better at as we enter into the second stage of our lives, the second half, is the ability to be present and in the moment, right? To focus on what really lights us up, to streamline, to let the white noise and all the kind of distractions fall away, and to focus on doing one thing at a time. So there's a kind of natural inclination, I think, as we get older to embrace slow, to embrace our inner tortoise, right? We just naturally seem better equipped to do it. But that doesn't mean we all do it, right? Or that it will happen automatically, because I think I always feel that every stage of life, I think of it almost as like a rolling construction project. You know, at every chapter of your life, you arrive there with a set of, you know, strengths, weaknesses, because that's what every stage of life brings. But you then have to go to the table and say, this is what I'm going to do with what's on the table here. This is the meal I'm going to construct for myself. So you have to step up and make some choices and do so, and learn some things, right? Take some steps to find that correct rhythm, right? The tempo giusto for you at whatever age you are.
Well, and Baja in Mexico is a great place to live a slow life. So I feel very blessed to actually be living here and to be welcoming you and others to our workshop that week. Secondly, your other TED Talk is related to your book, Bolder, Making the Most Out of Our Longer Lives. And it's a spectacular book. I love this. This is one of my favorite books I've read in the world of longevity and healthy and better aging. Tell us a little bit about your premise with Bolder.
Well, my premise, I guess, from my earlier work has been about taking on the cult of speed. With Bolder, what I'm doing is taking on the cult of youth. The notion that, because I think this is sort of hardwired into our culture these days, we're marinated in this idea that younger is just better, that aging is a curse or a punishment or a disease or a form of failure, right? And being older, let's be honest about it, can just mean being written off everywhere from the bedroom to the boardroom. And I thought, as I was myself entering the second half of life, I just felt so weighed down by all of this toxic, unhappy, grim, downbeat view of aging, right? I was an ageist myself. I had the cult of youth throbbing through my own veins. And I just didn't want to think about getting older. And then I sort of had a kind of epiphany in my own life, and I began to rethink and reframe all of this. And as soon as I began doing the due diligence and the research, it became very obvious to me that there was a whole other way of thinking about aging, and a new story we can tell ourselves about this long arc of life. And actually, one of the things that makes me feel more optimistic than ever before about aging is that we are entering a golden age of aging. It's never been a better time in human history to grow older. So this is the time, whatever age you are, even your 20s, but but we're addressing an audience presumably sort of 40, 50 and over. Whatever age you are in that bracket is to, own your age, take life by the scruff of the neck, and define what that age will be for you. Because I do think we're entering a pretty new moment now where chronological age is losing its power to define and limit us. I mean, if you think of just like Amazon and Netflix, for instance, no longer track their users by chronological age. They track them by taste, which I think says a great deal. It shows that how old you are doesn't determine whether you like Succession or prefer Strictly Come Dancing, right? It's about who you are, the kind of choices you make. And that's really, I think, what is so liberating about my take on aging and the way I ended up landing in the book, is that it's really saying to people, look, what defines you at every stage of life are your choices. What defines you as a person is not whether you're 45, 55, 60, 105. What defines you is the food you cook for the people you love. It's the music that makes you want to get up and dance. It's the politics you espouse. It's the places you travel. It's the books you read. It's the art that moves you to tears. That's what defines you. And that just gives us so much leeway, right? So much margin personally ourselves to write our own story at any stage.
Yes. I am so excited to co-lead this week with you because we're going to reframing aging and helping people move from a negative or neutral perspective to a positive one has been proven to add 7.5 years to your life. So you guys come and join us, and we're going to give you some extra years of your life. It's not a guarantee, but more than that, I just love your energy. I love that you're a hockey player still. Usually you played last night. The oldest person up. Were you the oldest one on the ice? Probably.
I am always the oldest one these days. But I also scored a hat trick and we won. So
woo.
There's one for the 50 pluses.
If you come and join us in Baja, those who are watching, you'll learn what a hat trick is. I know a little bit about it, but if you're not from Canada, yes, exactly. Any last thought? Any last fun fact? Anything that we should know about you that most people don't know?
Well, you've shared my hockey secret. Where else could I go after that? I suppose I did a little interview recently where where I was being asked about a song that meant a lot to me, and. Like so many people, I've got such an eclectic basket of songs and music that I like. But there's one particular song that really has marked my life in quite a profound way, which is "My Hometown" by Bruce Springsteen. And I'm not a massive. I like Bruce Springsteen, but he's not one of my. He wouldn't put him in my top 5. But this one song became the song that when my children were very small, I would get up in the night, as you did, right? Night after night, and my lullaby that I sang to them was Bruce Springsteen's "My Hometown." And even now, even just telling you that now, it brings a shiver to my spine. And the other day we were driving as a family. My kids are now 19 and 22, right? So I'm not getting them up in the middle of the night to sing them lullabies anymore. But we were driving off to spend the week somewhere on the coast in southern England, and that song came on in a playlist. And both my kids just kind of, there was like an electric jolt through the back seat, and they said, "Wow, what is it?" Because I hadn't really spoken to them about the song. It's weird. It was a little secret I was carrying around inside me. And I thought, wow, I just felt ennobled, adrenaline run. I mean, it was just such an incredibly sort of soaring, tender moment. So thank you to the boss, right, for that one.
I think we can be assured that we will be listening to that song in Baja. So thank you, Carl. I was so excited to have you travel from the UK to Mexico for this workshop, and I hope many of you who are watching this and our Wisdom Well subscribers will actually join us down in Baja. In the middle of winter, it's about the best time of year to be in the area because we have sea turtles hatching on the beach and we have whales breaching offshore. See you soon, Carl. Thank you.
In January.